Hey there, boys and girls, Lady Silver Vixen here. This video is going to be on scrying mirrors. For those of you who don't know, scrying mirrors are actually a divination tool for looking not only into past lives, but some believe that you can actually look into the future by this method. The main thing that you could actually consider as a correspondence to this, if you want to try and link things together, would be crystal ball gazing, which is another form of scrying. The black mirror, though, is also known as a magic mirror and is a rather powerful metaphysical tool. It can actually reveal to the user secret hidden knowledge, so to speak, as well as aid with the clairvoyant ability and actually act kind of like as a portal of existence in our universe. One of the things to keep in mind, though, is that with scrying mirrors, there's a couple of different things that you kind of need to work with. You should make sure that the surface is always clean, that the mirror itself is actually pretty reflective as much as possible. Some people don't believe in actually having that reflective property. Everyone that I talk to when it comes to scrying mirrors, though, they all say that it should actually have as much of a reflective property as possible. You should really never use it for anything other than its intended purpose. That means don't hold it up. Sorry about that. Don't hold it up and brush your hair or put on makeup. You know, if you're going to have a scrying mirror, like most of the other altar tools that we as pagans use, you don't want to use anything for an unintended purpose. You don't actually want to look directly into the surface. You want to actually be looking at it from kind of like an angle. And you don't want to be actually reflected in the mirror. You can, however, reflect the moon. You can reflect candles, candlelight, things of that nature, if that'll help you. Make sure that your working area is always clean. That is a big issue for some of us who use divination, is finding a clean space to work in. Personally, I use tarot cards, so space is usually an issue for me, especially when I use my full moon layout. But anyway, make sure that you need to extinguish, that you remember to extinguish all of the light sources. If you have a light on overhead, as you can see in the background, if that light's on, it needs to be off when you go to scry. You don't want any extra distractions that aren't needed. Setting the mood is also another good idea too. If you like lighting candles and lighting incense, make sure that it's all off to the side and away from you. As I just stated, you don't want a whole lot of distractions, but you want the general feel that you need in order to actually do this. There's a couple of different suggestions online. The one that I'm actually looking at says to burn a lunar or psychic blend incense before working with the mirror. I would definitely go with anything that really works for you, that would actually get you into the mood. Some other things when it comes to scrying mirrors too that you want to keep in mind is when you're actually using the scrying mirror, it has to be when you are really looking for specific information. You really want to be as specific as possible with the questions. It's no different than tarot. You need to be as specific as possible. A lot of people actually have issues when they're starting out with scrying for the simple fact that at first you may not understand what the exact images are. As opposed to tarot, where it may come with a book Scrying has no book. Every image is different and will show itself differently. The messages will come in sometimes kind of cloudy, and it really does vary. Of course, scrying mirrors aren't the only kind of mirror that you actually can scry with. You can also do this with bowls of water. You can do it in candle flames, things of that nature. I would actually show you guys how to scry in a mirror, but I don't have a scrying mirror. Nor do I ever actually intend to have one. I'm a person who likes to actually scry Mother Nature, or shadows, the sky, the dirt, things of that nature. I'm not particularly crazy about mirrors. It's just part of who I am. But I can give you some basic tips aside from the things that I've already told you. As I stated before, make sure that everything is at an angle. You want everything to reflect off at an angle, so you're going to want it to be out at least a good couple of inches, depending on how tall you are. It may be a couple of feet out in front of you, but you still want to be able to actually see the reflection. What you'll do is you'll meditate first. You need to meditate first when it comes to scrying, at least until you get a better feel for it. And even I still to this day find myself meditating beforehand. It's just a really good practice to start. From there, you can go ahead and if you want, you can cast a circle, you can raise the 4 pillars of light. It doesn't really matter. Just whatever's more comfortable for you. Another thing too is that you want to be completely void of all other distractions. You don't want family members walking in on you while you're in the middle of doing this. It's no different than a ritual. You don't need any extra distractions. Go ahead and light candles, your incense, whatever you want to light. Make sure that it's not reflecting off the mirror. And what you'll do is, as you're gazing into the reflective surface of the mirror, you're going to actually specifically bring up that question that you're looking for. And eventually, over time, as you practice this, images will actually either start to form in the mirror itself, or images will be brought to your third eye up here. Some people will actually harness the energy of their spirit guides to do this, and their spirit guides will bring forth the images for them. The number one thing, and this applies to most magic, keep a journal of it. I personally prefer to keep a separate journal altogether for scrying times, or even for tarot. You really want to keep a log of this. That way, as you're slowly defining the different images, you have something that you can go off of. I don't recommend going online and looking up dream dictionary interpretations, because what one image means to one person could mean something entirely different to another person. So you really want this to be as personal as possible. A good example of this is that to most people, you know, a fox is a bad omen. However, a fox to me or to my husband is actually a good omen. When we see foxes, it's usually a really deep interpretation that good things are coming. It's just that they will go unnoticed at first. So everything when it comes to the images are going to be personal to you more than what it'll be personal to anybody else. So make sure you definitely keep track of that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else about scrying mirrors that I can offer you guys. Just make sure that you meditate, you ground and center before and after, like all forms of magic and all forms of divination. There's really not a whole lot that I could actually tell you unless I showed you. Now, to onlookers, I know this is going to be one of the questions. To onlookers, the images will not appear in the mirror, okay? And if images do appear in the mirror to them, those images are going to be personal to them, okay? So Don't worry about that. And as I stated before, you don't need any extra distractions. So when you're doing scrying, you should actually be alone. At least that's personally how I feel about it. There are rituals where you can, say in like a coven, you'll be doing a scrying. Usually this will take place around Samhain, which is I just can't seem to get that frog out of my throat today. Which is actually a really good time to do divination. It is on Samhain. While I'm actually talking about this, I also wanted to point out really quickly here that Beltane do not do any kind of divination. Beltane is the exact polar opposite of Samhain. Even though the veil is thin, it's more likely that, as most people actually define it as, is trickster spirits will come out, and it'll just mess up all kinds of different divination. And trust me, I learned that one from personal experience. It's just insane. But if there's any further questions, please feel free to post them in the comments or to send them to me privately if you don't want your comments read by others. I'm always taking suggestions. I always keep things in mind. I'm hoping to actually bring about some gemstone videos soon. Show you guys those and give you some brief explanations to their energies and things of that nature. Remember, guys, suggestions are always welcome. You are always blessed by the goddess, and may your day be blessed as you go through it today. Or if you're watching this at night, please enjoy the rest of your evening. This is Lady Silver Vixen, guys. I'm signing out. Remember to always be happy.